This is the 20th season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing, a little impromptu show today on the eve of a very busy day in professional bass fishing. We have Skeet Reese getting a BPT win on the James River, a very interesting James River, one of those fisheries that's really come on over the past 10 years. I remember when the Opens, the Bass is, and MLF have gone there in the past, but I remember when the Opens first started going there, they'd go like in the middle of the summer and it'd just be absolutely brutal, 9-10 pounds. But that Chickahominy River, big player, and a lot of Florida straight largemouth in that. We've seen the past couple Opens, it takes 20 plus a day to win when we've been there in April and May. And was real interested to see how it would shake out in the end of June. And they caught the heck out of them. A really good BPT tournament. I think almost everybody was in the Chickahominy. Skeet Reese holding off Jeff Sprague to get the BPT win. And then over on the Elite Series side, kind of went out on the final day with all 10 guys on Smith Lake with a chance to win. A lot of rookies. Trey McKinney coming in 7 minutes late, and then he took a call. You can go to Bassmaster. They had a press release on that. Anyway, doing stuff that I would probably have done when I was 18 or 19 years old as well, and ended up finishing 92nd, had like 17 pounds DQ, took a phone call from a family member that was like, "Hey, where are you at?" And he's like, "Oh crap, I'm supposed to be at the weigh-in," which is illegal. So the crazy thing is I'm hearing all sorts of people saying, "Oh, it's going to screw his Angler of the Year chances and stuff." The guy's only like 20 points back still, which is unbelievable that you can basically go and get like 5 points and still only be 20 points back. So it is going to be a definite shootout. And I mentioned this going into this tournament, that Justin Hamner, who was 56 or 57, maybe it was 59 points back behind Trey McKinney going into this, had a real good chance on his home pond on Smith to make a run at holding both the Bassmaster Classic title and the Angler of the Year in the same season. And correct me if I'm wrong, something I don't believe has been done since KVD. I think Mark Davis did it in 95 too, where he won the Classic and the Angler of the Year in the same season, but they're going up north. He's got a couple more tournaments to hold him off. But Justin Hamner, a solid top 10 finish. And one of the really cool things that came out of this, before we get to our two guests today, one of the really cool things that came out of this is like every once in a while, there's just like a feel good story in bass fishing. And my buddy, Jarrett, I give him crap all the time on the show. I call him Juice Newton. He's been on the show before, and he started tying his own hair jigs. Well, earlier this year, he's only got like 500-600 followers on Instagram, but Robert G, who's an Elite Series pro, was like, "Hey man, can you tie some hair for me? Like, I've seen some of your crappie patterns and I think this stuff might work for bass." So he sent him a bunch, and months passed between then. And then Robert G caught like some key fish today on Juice's jigs. So, I mean, here's my buddy Juice. The guy just started tying 4 years ago. He got into it and he's watching Fox Sports Live, and there's a hair jig that came out of his garage in Edmond, Oklahoma, that he tied, that he worked with him on. It's just like super cool when like little stuff like that works together. It kind of brings us into like our guest today, because there's like a chain of events that lead to like something that happens really cool. You guys know Matt Looney from Bass Cat Boats, and then also Kevin Rogers of the NPFL and crappie tournament fame. And we'll bring Kevin in. Kevin in first here. What's up, Mr. Rogers? Thank you for jumping on BTL.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Second time you've been on BTL. Did I ever tell you about the first time that you were on BTL?
What happened? Something
Okay.
bad? They
No,
hated us
no,
because we talked about crappie fishing.
no, it was actually pretty funny. So I have not told this story live. I'm going to tell this story live. So you're a very thoughtful individual.
Oh,
And so I had you on BTL a little bit over a year ago. You can go back, you can Google that episode. It kind of talks about your journey from dominant crappie tournament professional to kind of transitioning to the bass side and finding like the love and energy and learning new things, traveling the country, chasing the bass. But at the time I was working on a deal kind of behind the scenes with a company. It was a meat company. And so things had been kind of weird before him, but I thought we had gotten a deal done. And then, like just randomly, and I didn't put two and two together, a box shows up on my doorstep. And I'm like, what is this? I mean, I never get packages unless it's fishing related. And I open it up and it's a box from this meat company. And it's got like just a plethora of fine meats and steaks in there and some seasoning. Well, I thought it was from, and I missed the like note that was in there, right? Like I was so excited at this box. So I just assumed it was from that company that had been working with and was working to get a deal done. And I was like, oh, this has to be good. Like if they're sending me a box, like maybe the deal's back on. So I get on there and I fire off a bunch of emails and stuff, hey, blah, blah, blah. Can't wait to follow up on this. Let's make this happen. And then I go back out and I'm breaking down the box and I see the note and it says, thanks for having me on. Really appreciated it. Kevin Rogers. So now I'm like, oh crap. Now these guys think that I'm just a jackass because now I'm like, thanks for the meat. Can't thank you enough. The stuff looks great. So now I have to resend them all emails. It says, just kidding. It wasn't from you. It was from someone else completely unrelated. Never heard back. Deal was done.
No.
But it was 100.
I cost you a filet mignon deal. My bad.
But it was. I still laugh about that. Like, what are the odds that like all like work together in that? But hey, it is what it is. So, all right, we'll bring in Matt Looney from Bass Cat Boats, eclectic group here today. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how are you guys?
I got no complaints. So I was on actually a couple weeks ago, Aaron Davis, or if you don't follow his social media, one of the best outdoor photographers in the business. If you are a dog person or you have a wife or a girlfriend who is also a dog person, he does the majority of the shooting for, what is it, Purina?
Yeah, Purina, and then some gun dog.
Yeah, like high end stuff, like big time stuff. So a lot of cute puppies on the page, but he also shoots for boats. So I got the new STS in the garage. So he came down to Oklahoma and we did like a 5 or 6 hour photo shoot of it. Really excited to see some of that stuff come out. But while we were there, he's like, hey man, something really cool is going to happen, but you can't say anything about it. But look at this, and I'll show you some of the pictures, and I've got some other ones, but like he showed me this one. I don't know if you guys can see that. And I'm like, boy, that logo looks familiar. And he's just kind of chuckling. And then here, I open up the rest of these. And then he shows me that one. And I'm like, boy, I've never seen that color before. And then he's like, dude, he's like, Coach Prime's getting an STS. And I was like, no way. And then I didn't hear anything about it. And then the next thing I know, Kevin and Matt are down at Deion's ranch bass fishing with him like 2 days ago. So whoever wants to start, talk about how the heck that came about and ended up.
Yeah, I'll start. Deion and I have been friends for about 4 or 5 years now. And it started because of my crappie fishing, right? He started following me on Instagram just out of the blue. Back when I was catching giant crappie, I was catching some big crappie down at Lake Fork and Lake of the Pines, and I would tag Texas. And he'd follow me for about a year before I even realized he was even following me. And he finally called me. He said, take me fishing. I'm like, well, who's this guy? And I went on, and of course it was Deion Sanders, and he gave me his phone number, and we talked. And this is about the time he was basically unemployed when he started following me. And then his life exploded. He went to Jackson State. Of course, now he's at Colorado. So he's got really, really busy. And here, I got my new STS. I got the Caracal, and I did a little video of it. And Coach commented to it, and he says, "I need your old one," is what he said. And things next thing next, Bass Cat's building him a brand new custom Puma STS, and Matt and I actually delivered it yesterday. We were there yesterday at Lake Prime of all places, and we actually launched that boat at Lake Prime. And Matt and I got to go fishing with Deion Sanders and have lunch with him. And all I can say is Deion is more than what you want him to be. An absolute amazing human being. Great energy, great guy to be around, fun. It was quite an experience, and hopefully it's not our last time. We didn't try to outwarm or welcome because we wanted to be invited back. So it was really, really cool to actually get to meet Coach and then fish with him for sure.
Were you able to catch a couple?
Oh, we caught the fire out of them. My buddy here, Mr. Matt Looney of Bass Cat Boats, drives all the way to Texas, doesn't even take a fishing pole, by the way. So,
Okay.
And I'm a left-hand guy. I'm not left-handed, but I've always used the left-hand bait caster. So it had him a little hamstrung. And once we realized we were pond fishing, I'm out there trying to. I got to go down. I went down 2 days early and fished Lake Fork. So I had. I was throwing 10-inch worms on 3/4-ounce stinger. Lake Fork's on fire, by the way. If anyone's listening, I know there's a lot of bass guys on here. Lake Fork is on fire. It's really, really good. I had 2 days there. I had 30 pounds, 5 bass.
I did. I saw a couple pictures. They looked like they were summertime fish fire. Too. Like they were out there offshore, like healed up.
So I gave Looney the wrong rod to start with. I gave him the old chatterbait, and it was on fire. I had to take it away from him immediately. I mean, we caught fish. It was really, really fun. So we caught.
That's how he does me. I didn't bring any gear because Kevin. I'm like, oh, Kevin's got his boat, so he'll have plenty of rods, reels, tackle, and everything. I don't want to junk up Coach's boat because that's the one I'm pulling down. And so actually, if you remember, Kevin started with the chatterbait. Handed me the worm rod. I caught a fish on it, and he said, "Hey, trade me." So I gave him the worm rod, pick up the chatterbait rod. I started catching him on the chatterbait, and we had to trade back. I mean, it was like getting beat up by my older brother. But
he shouldn't have been fishing since he didn't bring the pole.
The rest of the day. So.
I think it's a known fact. Hasn't Coach Prime said he wouldn't have a house or vacation house that wasn't on a lake where he could fish? He's said multiple times, like if he could have another profession, he'd be a professional bass angler. Travis Hunter, one of his star players, big time bass fisherman. Talk a little bit about that lake though. Is it like kind of like a Ray Scott type of lake? Like, is this one of these really cool managed places that's like, you're like, hey, I got to fish. Was it Lake Prime?
It's Lake Prime. Yeah. He has, what was the other one named Looney?
Lake Time. So he's got Prime.
Lake Time. Yeah. Lake Time and then Prime Time.
He's got two. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's totally managed. He's stocked it with Florida strain. He puts tilapia in it. He puts shad in it. It's in his front yard. I mean, we tied his boat up. We walked into his house to have lunch. It's amazing. He's got the setup. He loves fish. You could tell he was good at it too, wasn't he, man? I mean, he never got hung up. His casts were perfect. The guy's a world-class athlete, right? He's the greatest defensive cornerback to ever play football. He had
baseball and whatever else.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Okay, Matt, how did this all come about? Because I had Brandon Belt on earlier this year, longtime first baseman. He's got a cat with a 450 on it, runs the Brandon Belt series, and he seemed like incredibly serious about like post-play career. Like he wants to be in the tournament game. He wants to catch fish. He's excited for that. But you got him, and now you've got Deion at Coach Prime with a 20. Is it a 24 or 25 STS?
So it was 24. We finished it up right at the end of the 24-year model. We were actually supposed to deliver it about a month ago, and then they had storms come through and just wiped out like power and everything to where they had. But yeah, no. So he commented on Kevin's post. Kevin sent me a screenshot, kind of rubbing it in my face that Deion's his friend. And I said, let's see how serious he is, and let's do something. So you can't tell a lot by that photo, but
you could tell that's Colorado colors right there.
Oh,
I've never seen a bass cat that color back.
Right. So that black itself actually has gold flake in it. And so the whole boat is black with gold flake. Then it's called sand. It is a color where we offer the gold itself. It's sand striping and then a white bolt there. But again, when this all came about and I said, hey, here's what I want to do, we weren't necessarily, everyone was kind of like, you know, we've never seen that color or whatever. And wouldn't you know, a new color for 2025 is going to be.
I was going to say that might have to go into production now, man.
So it is going to be a production color moving forward.
That's exciting. Is this the first cat that has Prime had a bass boat before? Do you know, or is this the first Bass Cat?
Old Stratus, he was telling us.
Okay.
ProCraft. Yeah, ProCraft. That Barry ProCraft. That Barry Switzer bought and gave to him when he played for when Deion played for the Cowboys. Yeah.
Boomer Sooner, Barry Switzer, legendary. University of Oklahoma. But this is, I mean, did he get in? Did he walk around? Like, did you have to show him all, or did he know what was up?
He knew what he was doing for the most part, for sure. But obviously, we had to show him the details of a high caliber new bass boat, like live scope and stuff like that's a little bit foreign to him. But I mean, he felt right at home inside that thing.
What all did it have on it? Like, did he order this, or did you guys kind of surprise him with this, or was it kind of like a?
Yeah, we just surprised him.
It. Yeah, we built it.
So it's two 126 Garmin's, a live scope, and a Ghost trolling motor.
Okay.
2 8-foot power pole blades, and then he wanted it built like Kevin's, and so Kevin actually went with the Yamaha this year. So I reached out to Yamaha, and they were like, "Absolutely, let's get this going," and they helped out on an engine as well. So
Garmin trolling motor,
Garmin Force, not Ghost.
Yeah,
I said
Ghost, but I'm looking at it. That looks like
Garmin trolling motor. That wouldn't make sense. A Ghost with.
Yeah,
right.
That's fantastic.
I got in at midnight last night. So.
Is this thing big enough for him to get this sucker up on pad in Lake Prime or Lake Time?
He wouldn't want to. No, he wouldn't want to. But he's got some other opportunities, and we can take it down to Fork. And, like we talked about a lot of cool stuff, ideas he has with that boat. So.
Oh, he's got cool. The cool thing about someone like Coach, he's got such a broad, and he's got a big net that he casts to, right? He's got 5 million followers on Instagram. He me and Matt being in the boat, you can see his mind working and ideas he had for TV shows and what he could do for the bass fishing world. And it was all amazing. We don't want to give it away. We're not going to give it away.
No, that's why I'm not showing any videos or clips. I know he had his whole crew there that was filming stuff. He put some clips out. You guys reposted it. So you just get a couple pictures here, but go follow his stuff at his social media. There's a couple really cool videos that they already threw together and edited. But I mean, it's a production 24/7, right?
His whole life is. His whole life is full-time cameraman, recording everything he does nonstop, right? When you have that big a social media presence. But he has some great ideas, and hopefully me and Matt get to be a part of those in the future. So we're not going to give any of those away. But he's a businessman. He's always thinking. He's a hustler. So, Coach isn't going to get out of the bass game anytime soon, I don't think. No.
I'm pretty disappointed, Matt, that when I didn't pick up the new STS, I didn't have the BTL logo at the top of the seats. I feel like I maybe kind of got slighted there.
There you go.
I mean, come on. You got to work on that.
Next year model.
Next year model. But all right, that is just a fantastic story. Kind of, I think, a feel-good story, a great ambassador to the sport. And anytime you can get someone with that footprint, respect, social media, across everything, you want to talk about the buzzword growing the sport. I think that's something that grows the sport immensely. And then also a really good marketing tool, especially with you and your new role of Bass Cat. And then it works with Kevin being on the Bass Cat team. And I love it when, I told that story about Juice and Juice's Jigs and the Robert G thing kind of full circle. I love these stories because this is how in my opinion, this is how this whole thing is supposed to work.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got to give a shout out to Pro Guide Batteries too. They absolutely Peyton guys at Pro Guide came through for the Coach Prime boat as well.
Yeah. I would imagine when you dropped it off, the thing was, ready to roll.
Oh yeah. I mean,
tournament ready.
He's got every setup he could want. It was interesting showing them like the power poles is something, they didn't have the power poles back in the day when he didn't have that boat. So that was something new to him. He knew what they were, but it was new to use. And that boat would be tournament ready for anybody.
It'll be interesting to see if that thing makes it to Colorado at all, because like 90%, I was just out on the lake a couple weeks ago with Gene Gill, and he used to be the Oklahoma head of the DNR there. Mm-hmm. And long story short, it ended up where 25 years ago, Oklahoma had a bunch of smallmouth that they were looking to. They did it in 10 killer. They put some in Texoma on that. They put some in a number of lakes that some of them have them, some of them didn't really take, but they had all these smallmouth. And then as a whole, the state political wise kind of went in a different direction. So they had all these fish. They didn't know what to do with them. So they traded for some other species with Colorado. So there's a lot of lakes in Colorado that are really good smallmouth lakes now. Like you can catch 18 to 20 pounds of smallmouth. Those smallmouth that are in there were originally scheduled to be in Oklahoma lakes.
Wow.
And because of what happened at that time, they shipped them all up to Colorado. And that's why there's so many good smallmouth fisheries in the bass fisheries in Colorado. A little bit of
Makes
Oklahoma,
yeah,
Colorado connection there.
He was talking about Travis, and a lot of those guys really enjoy fishing, but they don't ever invite him up there. So he had to rub it in their face that he had a brand new Bass Cat. When we were there. Yeah.
And you can tell like Travis knows how to fish. You can tell a lot by how a guy holds a bass and stuff. And like, I've seen, Travis's Instagram posts and stuff like that guy's ate up with it and knows how to catch them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what I know. Chuck Pippin at Icon, he's taken Travis fishing several times. And so he's not new to the bass boat fishing or anything. I mean, like Travis is a good angler is what he said too. So,
I mean, you got The Rock, and then you got Deion.
So I just didn't get The Rock. There we go.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you got some guys that are like at the top that really love the bass fishing thing.
Oh, so. and like Deion explained on one of those videos, it's like it's a vacation to him. It's his time where he gets to go out on the water. There's actually, to get a little scholarly or whatever, there's a really good book called Blue Mind, and it explains how like being on water completely changes your mindset and your outlook. And he's like the perfect example to me because he's always busy. He's always got something going on like we talked about, but going out on the water is his time to just relax, whether he catches them or not, just being on the water.
Wait a second. So there's a
Looney
book.
got scholarly.
Yeah, no, we're going to show. Is this it right here?
Yeah, that's it.
Wallace J. Nichols, a fascinating study of the emotional, behavioral, psychological, and physical conditions that keep humans so enchanted with water. The surprising science that shows how being near, in, on, or underwater can make you happier, healthier, more connected, and better at what you do.
Amen.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. I mean, it explains why people go to the beach on vacation and why being out on a boat is a big deal. It's a really interesting read. Like I said, it's a bit scholarly. If you don't like to read, you probably won't like the book, but it's a good book.
Have you read it, Kevin?
Painwright, Looney was valedictorian, right? I got to bring this up.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of getting that hit now.
Yeah. No, I'm the dumb one, and on this, we're traveling partners, right, on the NPFL. I'm the dumb one, right? Yeah, and he's a smart one. That's how this works.
You haven't read it then?
No, of course not. No.
How'd you find this book?
Actually read it when I got into the marine industry because I wanted to know what makes people tick.
I mean, like, would you recommend? Yeah, I have.
It'd be a great read for you.
It would.
You're in our world.
I feel like you overestimate my academic prowess. I was just impressed that I was able to read all those words without jumbling over them.
Good.
And then I don't know if I believe that because it seems like if you follow the fishing industry, the more time there is around water in tournaments, the more ticked off everyone is this year. The more fights there are, the more controversy there is.
It has to do with points
I know. I'm just saying.
That's a small group. That's a small group.
It is amazing. Like you have those moments. I mean, I'm sure it kind of goes into that. Like when you're rolling in after like a day of practice or you're just fun fishing and there's not another boat out there and that sun and it's like the golden hour and like you have that moment where it's just everything feels right. And you're like, I wish I could share that feeling with everybody who doesn't do this. It goes, well, why do you do all this? Because like you may only get it 3-4 times a year, but that moment you're like, I am where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to do. And like, this is the feeling that y'all search for as like humans.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, people don't understand what we do, right? Like Friday, I was fun fishing at Lake Fork. It's 95 degrees. I got up at 5 a.m. I didn't get off the water till almost 9 o'clock, and that's all day. And people don't that, when you're ate up with, you're ate up with. But there's the special moments that you wish you could share that with someone so they could absolutely understand this passion that we have for this sport. And yeah, that's a good way to put it. Those moments do happen, and it makes it all worthwhile for sure.
All right. You mentioned the NPFL. You guys have an event coming up on Pickwick. Couple interesting things going on with that. I got to take a break. You guys good to stick around and chat a little bit about how you guys just passed the midway point of the season here, or it is the midpoint of the season, kind of doing an interesting thing with the NPFL, basically like a derby a month, right?
Yep.
Spread all out. I like that. It is BTL with Kevin Rogers and Matt Looney talking about getting to go fishing with Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. And it doesn't sound like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Who knows?
No, we're not done.
BTL will be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Bass Cat. Feel the rush.
Gamakatsu, the innovation leader in fish hooks, is launching Nano Alpha technology in 2024. Nano Alpha is a new finish available on Gamakatsu's most popular hook styles. It delivers 2 times slicker performance, 4 times better corrosion resistance. Nano Alpha technology makes the world's greatest fish hooks even better in 2024 to help anglers catch more fish.
Born in Japan, using technology, innovation, and precision, Sunline produces the widest selection of fishing lines at the most technologically advanced line factory in the world. Manufactured at the strictest tolerances to produce victories at the highest levels of tournament bass fishing. From household names like Christie, Swindle, and Cruz, to young guns like Cook, Logan, New, and Welcher, they all trust Sunline to take them to the top of the leaderboard. Choose the line that will give you the strength to guarantee your confidence. Sunline.
Everything you need, one legendary brand. Top 100, Strike King.
Gear that just plain works. Cast after cast after cast. AFCO. Any fish, any water.
Welcome back. Talking with Kevin Rogers and Matt Looney, two anglers who are also on the NPFL, and headed to Pickwick. Second year in a row that you guys have gone to Pickwick. I'm interested. I really like the format that the NPFL went to this year with one tournament a month instead of either front-ending it to the spring or all in the fall. I've always been, and even when Mark Jeffries hosted the show, a big proponent of spreading it out. So, you've got some anglers that are good in the summer, some anglers that are good in the spawn, and some anglers that catch them in the fall. It seems like this is like a really good schedule too, with a lot of anglers. I mean, you guys both have careers outside of the NPFL, obviously, but is this like kind of an ideal tournament schedule in your guys' opinion?
Yeah,
Matt?
I think it's awesome. We had our very first event early, like last week of February. And then we got a big gap to stay off of everything else, because, again, most of us do work in the industry. You've got Corbersley with Lowrance. You've got me at Bass Cat. There's a lot of that situation. So we are off of March, so we're not on any championships with the Classic or Red Crest. And, we kind of stayed away from April and May just because, basically staying off of other tournament trails. There's a heavy packet there. And that also allows us to have some elite anglers on our team. So like, I believe we have 8 elite anglers that fish with us as well. And it just works really well. It works for those guys. It works for us because it gives us the chance to have a career and continue to fish. And so, I mean, I think it's an awesome schedule. I don't know about Florida in September. We're going to find out about that one. But I can't wait to get to Pickwick this coming week. And then Saginaw is the one I'm really looking forward to. So,
Kevin, we talked about this before, kind of coming over to the bass thing. Give your overall opinion. Like, you've contended for the Angler of the Year in some seasons, like going all the way to the end. You've also had some rough years in it. Yeah. But overall, you're like, what, 4 years into this thing now?
Mm-hmm.
Just talk a little bit about what it's like learning and competing at the top at a high level, at top level, fishing for $100,000 every event and traveling around the country, learning the bass side of it, having already, and I'm confident in saying, conquered the crappie side of it.
Yeah, people don't understand that, right? People are still mad at me. There's people who have unfollowed me on social media because I quit crappie fishing, believe it or not. They hate me because I left the crappie world. And the reason I left, to be honest, my dad retired. Right? He retired at 76 years old, so I'm not traveling anymore. I'm like, this is perfect. I can go chase this bass dream, right? So I've always been a bass fisherman, always loved it. The crappie world was, just simply put, it was a lot easier. A lot easier. You're competing against, the 100-boat crappie tournament, we were competing against 25 guys each time. The rest of the 75 were there to socialize and just get out of the house. So the bass, you're competing. The 100-boat tournament, you're competing against 100 of them. You guys know that. Competition's a lot stiffer. People, I still get messages. Why are you doing this? Why you just finished, 130th it, you fall in the open. Why am I doing it? Because I love it. I absolutely love fishing. I love the challenge. Here I am. I'm 52 years old. I'm still learning. I learn every time I go out. And I think if you don't find something you suck at and try to get better, you're just going to dwindle away and die. And I don't want to do that. I'm not done yet, right? I love getting up at 4:30 5 days in a row and going out and fishing sunlight to dark. I can still do it. My body can still do it. Bass fishing is hard. I don't care what anyone says. You can watch bass live and say, well, I can turn on my live scope and go out and catch them like Robert Gee did today, or out like these guys. It's not that easy. It just isn't. It just doesn't happen. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Bass fishing is really, really hard and challenging, and I love it. I love to be challenged, and it's good for me, especially at 52. I have the time. I own my own company, so I have the time to go and do this stuff, and I'm absolutely still ate up with it. Just like I'm a 13-year-old kid in a John boat. I still love it.
It shows too. Like, you can tell in your posts and when you talk to you that you're having a good time at it. Pickwick's going to be an interesting one. So get your take at it as a couple of anglers. We'll start with you, Matt. One of the things that, and Kevin was telling me before that they did this last year, but they adjusted the tournament time to maximize the time you guys have while there's water that's flowing.
Yeah.
On the weekend. Is that right?
It is. And so this year they actually came in and they limited us where we can go, not NPFL, but the state of Tennessee. So we can't go to Bay Springs. We can't lock up or down. So we're all locked into Pickwick. And as a lot of people know, during this time of year, there's probably 10 really good spots that 100 anglers are going to try to get on. Right. Mm-hmm. And so rather than have it to where just the couple last flights are really going to get to maximize the current, they just delayed the tournament. So we're not taking off to 10:30 to where the current flow is going to kick off normally around noon or so. And so that gives us the time to really, really get every angler to kind of a good opportunity to get out on those ledges and catch these fish. Because outside of that too, there's not much of a bite outside of right at daylight. So it's also probably some safety on the fish as well, where you're not holding the fish in the live well in July on Pickwick all day long until that current's flowing. So I think it'll be a really cool event.
Do you think that helps guys like Brandon Perkins and stuff who are locals there, or does that help someone like you, Kevin, and Matt, who aren't locals there? Does that help or hurt anybody, or is there is everyone just going to catch more? Or?
It's still a bass tournament, right? We're still going to go out. It doesn't matter if we start at 6 or 10 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's still a bass tournament. Yeah,
It's an interesting strategy. A Bassmaster used to do that. They've done that before where they did like later to MLF did that ridiculously. They did like every day they'd like change the time of the takeoff for a couple years there. They'd be like, oh, we're gonna go into the twilight today. Everyone would be like, what? And then the next morning. But it's an interesting strategy.
Our last weigh in here, the last guy check-in time's 5:30, I think, man, or something like that. It's late in the evening. Yeah.
5:45. Scheduled for 10:30 with the first flight checking in at 5:45.
Yeah, no, the last flight checks in at like 7:30, I think.
Yeah, first flight's 5:45.
Oh wow, that's incredible. Yeah. And I know I get it because I follow all bass fishing, right? Being new to this, I'm new to the bass fishing game, but I follow all of them. And I know NPFL's still third chair, right? You still got the MLF, you still got bass, but you're seeing each year, you're seeing more and more elite and more, top name guys come over to the NPFL. And there's a reason for that. I mean, I have fished over in my career, tournament wise, I've fished over 400 to 500 tournaments in my life. No one runs a tournament organization better than the NPFL. It's period. And you'll hear every guy say that. It is a good time. There's no cutthroat. We don't have any of this, bass fishermen get a bad name. Tournament bass fishermen get a bad name for being whatever they are, right? I have not seen any of this. This is my fourth year. I've fished all 4 years of NPFL. I absolutely love it. I love the people that run it, and it's a great tournament organization. I just hope more people start following it because a lot more of the elite guys seem to be coming over for sure.
You had any run-ins with Tommy Biffle yet?
I saw Tommy Biffle at Hartwell fishing a spinning rod on a bridge pier.
You didn't.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I'm on that same bridge.
Yeah.
Did he look grumpy?
Oh, he didn't look like he was having
grumpy. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did not look like he's having a good time.
Yeah, you guys have a couple of legends of that. You're talking about however being happy, and I had to just check. Like, I mean, I was like, you got Biffle over there.
Yeah. Another legend too. At the first event, I was sitting there fishing beside David Fritz, watching him kill him on this old sunken bridge right beside me. And I was over here not catching anything, but I got to watch him catch him, so that was fun.
Is he still cranking with braid?
I don't know if he had braid, but he's still cranking sitting down. Now I know that you see him over in his chair.
I did a media deal with him probably 7 years ago, and he had braid on every single rod. And he's like, dude, cranking with braid is the way to go. I wonder if that, I think it was kind of a new thing that he was doing, but he was sold on it then. I would love to know if he's still.
Another guy that does that a lot is Luis Fernandez. He talks about out in California, he cranks with braid a lot.
Dude, that guy's got some energy, huh?
Oh, that's what, man. Have you had him on, Matt? You need to have.
No, I need to get him on the show. Yeah. I've met him a couple times, and he is not lacking energy. Like, keep the Red Bulls away from him.
Yeah. They don't even need them.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I greatly appreciate you hopping on. Anything else you guys want to, either of you guys want to get in on this?
No, man, I just appreciate the opportunity. You guys obviously go follow along what we did with Coach Prime and follow the NPFL.
Yeah. All right, that works. I do want to mention before we go, so I just talked with Kevin about this. Like earlier in the year, I talked about we're putting together, we are still doing a trip to El Salto in December. I think it's like either the 9th or 10th through the 15th. And just like the number of spots and stuff, they added a number of spots. There's still a couple spots open. I'm going to be going back through my emails for the people that originally requested information about that. But I was talking with Kevin before. I'm like, oh, I forgot that's coming up in a couple months. Like I was pretty bummed about, I was bummed in myself. Like I had lost the joy. Let's say this, the joy of bat. Like I didn't know this book existed about the water that Matt told us about. And it was it was a grind, right? Cause I wasn't close last year. And I got down to Mexico and got out there the first morning of El Salto. And in the first 3 hours, I looked at Darren, my buddy, Darren Gates, who had been down there before. And I said, dude, I forgot how much fun it is just to catch a bass. And I forgot how a bass acts when it attacks something with no hesitation and it's feeding and it completely rejuvenated like my love of bass fishing, particularly largemouth bass, right? Because I mean, I'm like, oh, these things are like, they're smart, they know you're there, they know what's up, they know and then you get down there and you're like, no, we're like way overthinking it. These things just attack movement.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed it this year and can't wait to get down next year.
So. I'm going. I'm signed up. I've paid.
Pro Bass Adventures.
Yep, I'm going. So
they have 7-ounce Coronas, and like, I mean, you'll have like a cooler full of these things, but bring a bottle opener because they're not twist tops. I just use a snuff can and boom, pop them off when they landed the boat. But like, I did
bass fishing.
I was gonna do a 7-ounce Corona for every 4-pounder, and we had like 9 4-pounders in the first hour, and I had to reevaluate that decision.
Yeah.
It lasted for about 2 hours. So awesome. Pacifico, not Coronas.
Pacificos, even better.
Yeah,
even better.
So,
yep. All right. Thank you, Matt.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Get that. You need to get in on that too, Matt.
Yeah, I got to check. Man, I got a 2-year-old at home.
He's got a 2-year-old. You're running Bass Cat. All right,
guys.
I
got a Bass Cat and 2-year-old. So
take it easy. Thanks Kevin. Thanks, Matt. Yep. All right, there we go. Matt Looney, Kevin Rogers, 2 of the good guys in the sport, and a really cool experience that I would imagine. I think Coach Prime put out like a 3-minute video. I'm interested to see if that'll go out on his docu-series that he's streaming, if there'll be anything about the boat in that. But we're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, we will talk about Taku E2, caught like a freaking 6-pound spotted bass this past week to win his second Bassmaster Elite Series event. He has now won on smallmouth and spotted bass, but not largemouth. And Skeet Reese getting back into the winner's circle at the BPT event. So BTL will be back right after this.
In 2023, we became a household name in the crappie fishing world thanks to Power Breaks, the game changer. Hey, bass fishing world, buckle up, because you're next. It's going to be fun. Welcome to the next evolution of our product line, Power Breaks Sidekick, designed to install right on your shallow water acres. We are the first and only fishing brake company to offer a breakaway system. Just like with the Game Changer, the Power Breaks Sidekick has it as well. And it's not a matter of if you're going to need it, it's when. Power Breaks, the most durable fishing brakes available on the market today. Made right here in the USA with our rock-solid 2-year warranty. Hey, not all fishing brakes are built equally, and you owe it to yourself to find out why ours are different. Power Breaks Sidekick. Order yours today at mypowerbrakes.com. You'll be glad you did.
Have you considered purchasing new electronics for your rig? The type of mounts you choose to protect your investment should be part of the decision-making process. No matter if you prefer 1, 2, or 3 graphs up front, Beatdown Outdoors has a solution for you. Adjustable, versatile, rigid, and made in the USA. What's your ultimate electronics setup? Check out the full selection of Beatdown Outdoors products by visiting beatdownoutdoors.com.
Yes.
Fishing isn't just a hobby, it's an obsession. Whether it's blazing hot or bitterly cold, bright sunshine, raining, or even snowing, someplace, somewhere, there's a fish that's ready to bite. And as the angler, you need baits that will catch the fish anywhere, anytime, no matter the conditions. From throwing topwaters to cranking the depths, know the baits to throw. Choose Spro.
Having confidence in your tackle while on the water is one of the main things to success, in my opinion. In the last couple of years with Denali, I've had just that. From anything from spinning rods, casting rods, tungsten products, even now to casting and spinning reels, I have the confidence to go out there and get the job done and know that all my equipment is going to handle it and do it just the way I want it. The thing about Denali is you've got great quality products at a great price point, so make sure you check them out.
All right, wrapping things up here on BTL. I said this past week, I had recorded shows. I was home for my mom's birthday. So the show's airing on a Wednesday. But yeah, this past week on Sunday, Taku E2, a 5-12. He beat Robert G by, Robert G had like 54 pounds by 4 pounds. And that's 6 pounds. Freaking monster fish. I mean, you know they exist out there, but watching those guys on Smith. So I had like a revelation watching because like I went to the Bassmaster stuff And there are people like, oh, look at these guys. It's so easy. You just cast to them and they bite. It's video game. And I don't want to give it away because I had like an hour and a half chat with Todd Castledine about this, and I got fired up. And I'll just say this. My first slide was, of course they're going to make it look easy. They're the best in the damn world at it. Of course it's there. You want it to look easy. Like, have you ever seen like the Daytona 500 when they go 3 wide into the corner? They make that look pretty easy. They're 180 miles an hour, 6 inches apart. Like, of course these guys are going to make it look easy. Of course they're going to be good at it. Of course they're going to get them to bite. They're the best in the world at it. Anyway, there's a lot more to it, but it got me fired up to watch that, to see a lot of similar techniques and tactics that went down there. And then the rookies just absolutely came through and dominated this thing. In the top 10, you had Tyler Williams, Kyle Patrick, JT Tompkins, John Garrett in 11th. I'm scrolling down here. You had Wesley Gore in 33rd, Logan Parks in 38th. Yeah, pretty much all the rookies. And then if you go look at the Angler of the Year standings, I'll tell you who did a really lot of help for himself, where both the Johnson brothers, but Corey Johnson headed up to a place where I would expect he's going to go top 10, 531. He's about 60 points back from behind Hamner. Trey McKinney, even after a 90-something place finish, 24 points back from Justin Hamner. And you look at these guys, I think it's going to be an absolute shootout as these guys go up north to close out the season. Hamner, McKinney, Huff, Chris Johnson, Jacob Fouts, who, I mean, very nearly wasn't even on the Elite Series this year. But you remember what happened there at the off season and how he didn't have sponsor money, wasn't able to make it work. Just absolutely smashing them here. John Garrett, Shakurat. You don't think Shakurat's not going to catch him? JT Tompkins, Thousand Islands. That's like his neck of the woods. Corey Johnson, Wesley Gore, Jordan Lee, Tyler Williams, Coop, Kyle Patrick, and Patrick Walters round out the top 15. So absolutely a slugfest heading into the final several stops of the Bassmaster Elite Series season. Over on the BPT, impeccable timing for what Skeet Reese did on the Potomac River. Relied a lot on a bridge. I talked a little bit about this before. The Chickahominy played. You had creeks, you had finesse fishing, you had docks, you had grass, and they put, I think, a 1.8 limit on the fish, but some big fish, some small fish. I thought it was a really fun tournament to watch. I would put the James River in the top 10 of my favorite fisheries across the country, just as far as diversity, big fish population, ability to get bit, ability to pattern fish, opportunity for a giant, and it showed out really well. But with Skeet's win, he won a invitational event a couple years ago. Perfect timing as he wins this, and then in just a couple months will be inducted into the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame at Johnny Morris's house there in Springfield, Missouri. So that's all we got for today. There is no day for tomorrow because tomorrow's 4th of July. So everybody have a safe and happy and healthy 4th of July, and we will talk to you then. See ya.